In astrology, truth isn't always visible to the eye. Sometimes it can only be felt through intuition, and this is exactly where Neptune begins its work, guiding us beyond illusions, dissolving boundaries, and reminding us that not everything real can be seen. Just like Neptune, the journey we've taken today has flowed through mystery, depth, and silence. Thank you for joining me in the waters of the unseen. Neptune, a mystical, dreamy, visionary planet, deeply connected with the archetype of the victim and the savior. In astrology, Neptune rules Pisces. Its sign of detriment is Virgo. It is also associated with Pisces and the 12th house in its fall. Physically, Neptune is linked to the pineal gland, our third eye. Neptune brings to mind concepts such as sensitivity, suggestibility, empathy, spirituality, illusion, imagination, idealism, dreams, deception, and sacrifice. It also relates to addiction, vagueness, and a sense of devotion. Neptune's energy is dissolving, dispersing, but also purifying. It was discovered on September 23, 1846 by Johann Gottfried Gall. Neptune completes its orbit around the zodiac in approximately 164 years and stays about 14 years in each sign. It's no coincidence that Neptune was discovered around the same time anesthesia was introduced. The 1840s marked a shift from the Age of Enlightenment into Romanticism, a time when spiritual beliefs reawakened. In 1848, spiritualism began with the Fox Sisters seances in New York, giving rise to a renewed interest in communicating with the dead. In the same year, the Communist Manifesto by Marx and Engels was published, reflecting the Neptunian ideal of empathy toward the suffering and the drive for collective unity. Developments in photography, petrochemicals, and pharmaceuticals, domains linked to Neptune, also took root during this era. Neptune's energy dissolves, purifies, and refines. Its glyph shows the cross of matter pierced by the crescent of spirit, symbolizing the soul's desires taking precedence over material needs. The core function of Neptune is to help us transcend ego and awaken to a sense of unity. Compassion, mercy, selflessness, and devotion to a higher ideal are central themes. Neptune represents passive receptivity and surrender to life's flow. Truth isn't always visible or logical. Through Neptune, we begin to experience it as a subtle inner presence. One feels like a drop dissolving into the divine ocean. Neptune teaches us to let go of form and recognize the sacredness of formlessness. Its gifts include acceptance, empathy, compassion, and inner guidance. But these can only emerge once we learn to see beyond our limited personal identity. Neptune embodies deep longing for the divine, for idealism, for the collective. It is closely tied to intuition and inspiration. Like a cosmic antenna or a spiritual guide, Neptune gently directs us through dreams, symbols, and inner visions, especially when the outer world has lost its meaning. Neptune is also deeply linked to mysticism, creativity, music, and the arts. It functions to reveal what is unseen and invite us into the mysteries of the soul. Commonly associated with fog and confusion, Neptune doesn't merely create distortion. It symbolizes a higher, more subtle perception. Just like navigating through real fog requires inner orientation, Neptune teaches us to sense the invisible. But if someone confuses this mist for clarity, it can lead to illusion and self-deception. Wherever Neptune is found in the birth chart, it points to the area where the self dissolves, where ego boundaries blur and surrender is required. That area of life becomes a space where confusion, vision, compassion, and transcendence converge. Yet, if one hasn't learned how to surrender or trust their inner compass, Neptune can lead to chaos and heartbreak. Before accepting reality as it is, Neptune may take us through a maze of illusions. If a person cannot devote themselves to a higher cause or ideal, Neptune turns into disappointment, escapism, victimhood, and addictive patterns. When afflicted in the chart, or when its energy is not integrated, Neptune can manifest as extreme idealism, disconnection from reality, escapism through fantasy, avoidance of responsibility, hypersensitivity, being easily influenced, taking on a victim or martyr role, self-deception and deceiving others, forgetfulness, absent-mindedness, and chronic distraction. In such cases, the individual may become dissatisfied with the material world. Instead of confronting life's challenges, they may fall into the Neptunian shadow. This includes dependency on television, video games, drugs or alcohol, spiritual bypassing, or chasing illusions and false enlightenment. But remember, Neptune doesn't deceive to harm. It allows deception to eventually lead to awakening. When Neptune's fog begins to lift, one doesn't just understand the self more clearly, they begin to intuit the deeper workings of the universe itself. Modern astrologers can sometimes misinterpret Neptune. When they see Neptune in the chart of someone who has been deceived, they may limit its meaning to mere delusion or playing the victim. But Neptune operates on a much deeper level. In fact, a person can sense they've been deceived even without consciously seeing it. We frequently observe this in advanced astrology practice today. Whether it's a woman or a man, even if the deception occurred months or even years ago, when Neptune wasn't active. Once Neptune becomes involved, the person picks up on the energy of the event. This is because Neptune not only reveals what is hidden, but also brings past events to the surface. In ancient times, Neptune was considered a god who ruled over earthquakes. He governed not only seaquakes, but also the tsunamis that resulted from them. So, Neptune's influence in nature wasn't limited to water alone. It was also associated with land-based earthquakes. If you've noticed, there's a very Neptunian dynamic happening in astrology. We work, we test, we observe. But the position Neptune places someone in is like sensing what's coming, even before it can be seen. Just like the discovery of Neptune itself. Even before we fully observe the planet, we began to feel its effects. However, communicating this knowledge to the public or to astrology enthusiasts isn't easy. Because Neptune's effects are abstract, intuitive, and outside of time. That's why, when explaining Neptune-related themes, it's important to go beyond just personal experience. One must develop the ability to interpret it from a broader perspective. Just like Uranus is paired with Aquarius in astrology, Neptune has a clear connection with the seas and underwater activity. This pairing is directly linked to Pisces. And since Neptune is the natural ruler of Pisces, the connection is both evolutionary and spiritual. Neptune reminds us that not everything must be seen to be understood. Some truths live in silence, in symbols, in the quiet ripples of intuition. If this video helped you see Neptune in a new light, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Astrology of Scholars. Your support helps us dive even deeper into the cosmic mysteries. In our next video, we'll descend into the powerful depths of Pluto, the planet of transformation, death, and rebirth. Until then, stay open, stay curious, and remember, sometimes the unseen holds the loudest truth.